And we are live. Welcome to the T-Prep Podcast, and we're here for the people, not the system. What system are we talking about? Whichever one you don't like, we just hope you like T-Prep. And today's topic in fitness is how to lose weight fast. Now, it's a little more complex than that, but let's say I have somebody come up to me and say, hey, Mr. Rodriguez, how do I lose weight? What I'm going to tell them is I'm going to look them right in the eye, and tell them calorie deficit, high protein, progressive overload, and remember to increase your daily activity. And I'm going to give them a hug and give them some words of encouragement. Right. And today in the booth we have, or in the studio, we're not singing no music here, but in the studio today we have NFL trainer, business owner, Akeem Gordon. Say what's up, man.
What's going on, everybody? How you feeling? I'm good.
So, I train like the average person. They want to lose weight, or they want to gain muscle, or they just want to be functional. They just like your moms, your dads, your single persons, whatever, that just want to be healthy. That's the kind of people I train. But you train different.
Right.
You train athletes. You train people who are needing to prepare to go against extreme amount of anxiety, stuff like that, because they are in front of a crowd.
Right.
So you got to prepare them mentally, and then you got to prepare them physically.
Right.
So it's a little more complex the way you train. So how would you say it's different from training the average person?
To be honest with you, I think, for me personally, I think the hardest part is getting them to understand me first. I think that's the more anxiety of it at first. You know, you get a new person, you're trying to train them or whatever, and they don't understand what you're trying to train them until you start kind of putting them in that game-like setting. So I think it's different because when you're just training a regular person who just wants to lose weight, gain weight, whatever, they're doing it for their own well-being. Mm-hmm. When you're training somebody in this sports, in this atmosphere, you're training them to prepare them to be able to speak to everybody, be able to play in this hostile atmosphere, and then obviously to perform under extreme measures. Mm-hmm. So it's different than just training for weight training or to train for, like you said, calorie deficit or whatnot. But just me personally, when I used to train with my trainer or whatnot, I'm not just training to perfect my craft. I'm training to get those guys around me better too, because at the end of the day, I'm energy, and energy holds, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving that energy to everybody else, so they feeding off me.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that energy, so it's like, because it's a team effort.
Right.
I mean, they can be the greatest athlete in the world, but
right.
They have to be able to work with one another.
Correct.
To accomplish the task at hand,
right.
which is winning a basketball game, football game, mm-hmm. you name it. So, I mean, other than that, so you said the calorie deficit. I heard you say that. How does calories play how does calories play a factor in training an athlete?
Here's the thing. Me personally, like we talked about earlier, we was talking about Chad Ochocinco, and you was like, man, he burned fat like crazy, or really he don't have any fat. For me personally, I wouldn't say there's a calorie deficit for me or whatnot, because now I feel that I move so much, I work out so much, it really doesn't matter what I eat. So even for the athletes that I'm training as well, all the athletes that I train, they play skilled positions. So they know just coming in themselves that they can't just continue to eat Whataburger, McDonald's, or whatever. Yeah. They could, but that means you got to increase your daily activity, like you said. So same thing as Chad Ochocinco. He said he used to go to McDonald's every morning to get pancakes, waffles, whatever, and it still doesn't affect him in that way. For me personally, I can eat anything I want, because one, my calorie intake it's wishy-washy. I work out so much that you'll just never know. I can eat anything I want, and it still will never affect me.
So you have a very high metabolism.
Very high metabolism.
But I wouldn't say that it's only a high metabolism, because the way you train, man, the way you work out in the gym, you're probably going as hard as you would if you were playing a football game.
Yeah. I think, and like you said earlier too, training mentally and then training physically. Mm-hmm. I've been in that mental aspect so long, because like where I'm from, there's really only one option. Either you gonna make it or you gonna be nobody. And I kind of adopted that for so long that once I got out of the game, it was like, well, I can do something else besides play football. So I started applying that mental thing that I had just carried on for so long to everything else that I applied myself to. So now when I do my weight training here at T-Prep or wherever else I do it, I'm applying the same effort, because effort is something you don't have to teach. So I'm applying that same effort every time, so I can make sure that I'm still getting the same benefits and applying the same concept that I would as if I was playing the games.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Me and Akeem go way back.
Way back,
you guys.
man.
I mean,
Way back,
when I was playing
man.
quarterback in high school,
Yeah.
high school in Texas, my receivers needed some work.
Yeah.
So I contacted Akeem and I said, "Hey man, can you come to the field with us?" It was during off season.
Yeah.
I was like, "Can you show the receiver something, some footwork? Because you got some crazy footwork."
Appreciate it.
Because like I try to move that fast and I can't even move that fast.
Yeah.
You know?
I think even with, and now that I think of it, you know, just you doing that, letting me come to Braswell, work inside, create, me working out, then that kind of created that platform for VMR training as well too.
Yeah.
Now that I look at it, because I didn't really think about training until the decline in my career started approaching. So as I went to ECU or whatever, I felt, okay, you know what, I do have the mental and physical. I have the physical capabilities to make it to the next level, but mentally I wasn't ready. I wasn't able to adapt in certain environments or whatever. So now I'm thinking about it. Once you brought me in that setting to Braswell, it was a different setting. It was actually helping people and giving people everything that I knew that I could give to them, so they could be able to flourish at the next level and do what I didn't do.
Yeah, I was reading this one book. I forgot the name of it, but it said we tend to go after a career path that into something that changed our lives. So, for instance, training and in the gym, working out. It changed my life because when I was at my lowest low, and you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna step into the gym. And when I stepped into the gym, I was like, okay, I want to be a trainer. So I started studying it, and then while I was studying training, like personal training, I started falling in love with it. I started falling in love with working out, and I was at my lowest low, so I was like, you know, I was going heavy into it. That's all I could do. I mean, you go to the gym now, a lot of gym bros are at their lowest low, and I mean, it's the truth of it. I mean, because not everybody has a lot of time to be at the gym for an hour and a half, and it's usually people who are at that point in their life, so they're just doing that to do just to kill time. Right. So, but when I was doing it, I was falling in love with it. It was changing my life entirely. I was becoming more happy, and I loved helping others when they would ask me questions, and I ended up pursuing that career path, and eventually I went to Austin, Texas. And
I remember.
Yeah, I went to Austin, Texas.
Stayed there for about a couple months.
Yeah, at my lowest low. And I was like, I want to preach, you know, T-Prep everywhere. I want the way I think training should be, because every trainer has their own philosophy and things. So I was like, and I want to impact the gym. Like, so a regular corporate gym, I want to impact their facility and bring something new to the table, rather than you get a membership and that's it, right? That's all you hear from the business. So I walked in, and I'm 19 years old. So I'm a 19-year-old walking into a corporate business, saying, "Here's my business plan. This is the way I train. I want to be a trainer here, and I can run some classes for y'all, and I can take care of some things." And everybody rejected me. I mean, I went to every single gym in that area. Everybody rejected me. And then in my last interview, I was telling, I can tell he wasn't really with what I was saying. And he was, in the last question he asked, he was like, "So what motivates you, Mr. Florentino? Like, what makes you want to do what you do?" And I knew the interview wasn't going good. So I said, "Rejection." And then he was like, "All right, that's all we have here. You'll be hearing from us." And I never heard from them. And I was like, that's the last time that I go try and work with the gym, right? So I left Austin, and I came back to Denton, and did the same thing. But I knew this one gym owner, and forever, he will be like a blessing to me. Like he blessed me with letting me use his gym to just run my business out of. Right. But what that took was me paying him rent, of course. Right. But he allowed me to do it. A 19-year-old allowed me to do it. And so I put T-Prep cards there. It was my first time doing this, and I started training a lot of clients, and they were seeing progress. I mean, one of them, came up to me, Tino, look, this is my before picture, and now look at my after. And I was like, had full of joy, because that's what I love doing, right? And then eventually, I was like, I want to do something bigger. I want this brand to be something big. I want that feeling that I gave to her by providing her our services.
Right. And seeing that result coming from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the style of training we're doing, because the style of training I do is it's all forms of training.
Right.
So it's not CrossFit. I don't agree with CrossFit at all for the average person. But
why? We touch on it, but why?
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll tell you why after this.
Okay.
But the way we train at T-Prep is like multiple training styles.
And I like that.
It's calisthenics, it's hypertrophy and strength, and then it's a HIIT. So that's the way it's structured. 3 different phases, and it's structured around the individual. So their imbalances, that's how we choose the calisthenic workouts that works for them, and the hypertrophy and strength. We choose those exercises that work for them based on their imbalances and based on their body type and based on their goals. And then the HIIT and cardio section, again, same format.
Right.
But why don't I agree with CrossFit? And that's because the Olympic lifting. I think that is a very, very skilled thing to do. Like it takes years of practice. There's people that have been doing it for 2 years, and they don't feel like they fully got the grasp of how to do a clean.
Right.
Or how to do a push press, or with the jerk, push to jerk, whatever it's called.
Yeah, push to jerk.
I don't even do that one because I'm just afraid of getting injured on that one. I don't need it, I'm just trying to be healthy and functional.
So you think there's other alternatives to still benefit the same muscle rather than doing push to jerk? So do you think there's other things that you could do with other weights rather than push to jerk, or just do regular dumbbell lifting, something that's safer in order to keep your body from, wear and tear?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I'll probably we'll clean the push to jerk. I would probably section it off. Definitely. I know you want to do it like a full body movement to be functional, to build that full kinetic chain strength to push through with that movement. But it depends on individual, because I got a client that everything she does is perfect form. So that's somebody I'll be like, okay, she can probably handle the push to jerk. But when you got the average, everyday person, the mom that just wants to go work out and be in the community because she's a stay-at-home mom, so she wants something to do. You got her doing Olympic lifts, cleans, push to jerks, and I hear a lot of stories of people breaking their backs doing that. So I think it depends on the individual when it comes to training.
See, me personally too, because I don't go to the gym a lot. You'll see me up here every blue moon. I think for me, I'm so content with at-home workouts. Like you said, calisthenics. I work out like a prisoner, so I try to do at least 2 to 500 pull-ups a week. Try to do about 1,000 to 2,000 push-ups a week, or I do a lot of body weight stuff, a lot of push-ups. How does that benefit the body? Does it benefit the body more or less than lifting with weights?
No, I think it benefits the body tremendously. Like if somebody wants to get into fitness, what I do for sure, and they don't want my help, like they don't want to have a structured workout plan, I tell them to start with calisthenics. I tell them to get to that point where they can do like 50 push-ups, pull-ups, all that stuff. And they're going to continue to get good at it. They're going to be great at it. But there's a point in that where they're going to want more growth, and your body became adapted to it. So let's say they want, I want bigger biceps now. I want to be more stronger with my legs. Like I want to be able to squat a lot of weight. I want to be able to bench a lot of weight. I want a big chest. I want big arms. That's usually what guys want. Right? Well, you're going to build some muscle doing calisthenics, but there's going to be a point where it's not enough.
Right.
You need that resistance against it. So that's why I'm not against at-home workouts, but I think for somebody who's like at a high skill, they got to be in the gym. Like they have the tools here to maximize their potential strength.
I see T-Prep going big, especially for the time span that you've had it, and now that it's expanded. Do you see yourself relocating? And if you did, how could I say this? If it calls for you to move to expand, would you do it? Or would you be content with just staying here and rather seeing it grow? See the growth as it go.
No, I'm not someone who's content at all. So no, yeah, relocation is in mind, but this is the OG facility. We're gonna learn a lot from here. We're gonna grow a lot from here, and everything we do. And if the time comes where a relocation is an option, then we're gonna take it.
Right.
And we're gonna do it because, of course, I want multiple facilities in different states. But this is confidential. So if you made it this far in the video, this is confidential. We're gonna build our own training style, like F45, Orange Theory, stuff like that. But we're gonna make it into our own type of style, like what I just told you.
Right.
But that takes a lot of work, a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimenting, and of course, that's why I say you gotta read a lot, because you gotta get a lot of different point of views from people, a lot of different perspectives on fitness, because you got the sports trainer, you got the general person trainer, and then you got the sports nutritionist, stuff like that. You got all that together, right? You got to get all these different perspectives, all these different styles of training. You even got you got yoga, you got like I said, CrossFit now is here to stay. As much as I don't like it, it's here to stay.
It's here to stay. Ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, so you got all this. You got boot camps, all that too. You name it. So many different styles of training. So before we create our own, I want to make sure that I get a grasp of every single one and know as much as I can before I even proceed on trying to create my own.
Right.
But eventually that's the plan.
That's the plan.
And still, we will still allow members like to have gym memberships.
Right.
We'll still allow that. But yeah, it is in the plan to relocate and get bigger and keep providing y'all some valuable information.
I'm here for the growth. I'm here for the growth.
Yeah. So you own your own business too. I mean, you have VMR, and I like that name. You know, when I first seen it, I thought that's a great name. You know, vision meets reality, and that works with every aspect of life. When you have a vision, you want to be, the best house builder. You want to be the best, tech guy, building computers, all that. You have a vision,
right? How you gonna make it a reality?
You make it into a reality. So vision meets reality. And when that happens, it's the greatest experience in life.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. For me, at first, I was stuck on the name because I didn't know what to come up with. I knew I wanted to create a business to help people specifically, but I didn't know what I wanted it to be called. And then obviously, wifey, she helped me create it. And she was saying, it doesn't have to be super catchy to the point where it's only catchy to them, but it don't make sense to you. So I'm like, okay, well, what about my vision? What about what I want to do? And at the time, this is where I was so stuck on going to the league. I thought this is the only plan A. There was no plan B. And then I started saying vision meets reality. How can I help somebody's reality become reality? How can I help someone's vision become their reality? Yeah. So I started. Obviously, you get the athletes and you get the regular trainer. They just start teaching people how to do things. But I say, you know what, I'm going to do it different. I want to start teaching people in-game situational stuff. I want to teach them how to run before I teach them even how to do drills. Yeah. Because how could I teach something to somebody who really don't even know how to walk? So I started adopting by the crawl before you walk conception and started teaching it that way. Then I started doing research, like you said, reading. I started doing a lot of research on track. Started doing a lot of research and stuff on how, really isometric muscles, isometric lifts or whatever. And then I started applying it to my receiver stuff. And then I started showing a lot of stuff that I used to do to my clients. And I'm like, you know what? In order for me to be able to teach this, I have to be able to speak to my clients. They have to understand me. And now I just don't just deal with a specific age group. I deal with 7 to 8 year olds. I deal with 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. And it's like now I'm to the point where I'm starting to realize that my younger youth are way more receptive than my older kids, because those older kids have been doing it for so long. Those bad habits have become their good habits. Yeah. So now I'm trying to turn their bad habits into beneficial habits, if that makes sense. So now when they get to school, they're starting to do everything that they're doing in their training. That's why you trust your trainer.
Exactly.
So, but I enjoy it though. I enjoy every bit of it. Shooting, like you said, expansion. I'm trying to expand as well. And being in the DFW area is hard. It's hard. There's a lot of different trainers out there, and there's a trainer. there's a lot of trainers that I've trained with that do the same thing I do or similar. And now I see from my point of view that I have to start doing things differently. I have to make sure that I'm not talking more than the average trainer. I have to make sure I'm talking, but they're doing more hands-on things as well. But I enjoy it. And now business is growing more and more because they're seeing the content that I'm putting out. And I couldn't ask for it any better. So
I see that, man, because I follow you on Instagram. I see you got a lot of different people in these videos. I'm like, he's training a lot of people. He's doing well.
I think the marketing is harder than the training.
Yeah.
The marketing is harder than the training because you get a lot of people that try to do it through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, or whatever. And they say when you first begin a business, they say that word of mouth is more than anything.
Yeah, word of mouth is key for sure.
And it's like the word of mouth in the area that I'm in is good, but it's not good if you're not training those top tier guys already. So now the trainers that are training those top tier guys already, I'm getting the guys that are gonna be top tier guys. So now I feel like that word of mouth for me would come even better because I'm in the North Texas area.
Okay, I get what you're doing. You're investing in these people.
Yes,
you're investing in them.
Correct.
You're saying, I'm gonna help you get to that next level, and I want to continue to help you from there.
Right.
Because you see the potential in them.
It's about building a connection more than anything. I try to connect because I'm still young. I'm in the same age group, same bracket as my kids. So they come up to me, they're like, why the hell do I gotta listen to you? I'm gonna show you why you don't have to listen to me, but I'm gonna show you why you should listen to me. And then I bring on my tape or whatever and showing them, hey, look, I'm getting out my breaks in 2 to 3 steps. Yeah. The average person don't know that. But I think the most important thing for me is making sure that I introduce it to the parents as well. Because the parents want to understand what they're getting their child into as well. So
yeah, for sure. It's like a fighter.
It's like a fire.
You have a fighter here, and he's a great fighter. He's good, but he has a lot of flaws. He has a lot of things that he has to work on and fix. So what does he do? He hires a trainer, and a lot of people they undermine the trainer because that training position. What you're doing is you are spectating. You're spectating, and then you're criticizing, but it's constructive criticizing.
Correct.
So you're seeing things that he won't see, and then you develop a system to fix it.
Right.
That's why you're here, and that's why you are there to help them. And a lot of people, when they're not open-minded, they're closed-minded. They stay at one level. So you got to be open-minded if you're an athlete out there. Listen to people who have experience, and listen to people who have great knowledge in what you're trying to do. Because, okay, let's say, for example, me wanting to open a business. I didn't just get up one morning and say, all right, I'm going to go open a business, and I know exactly what I have to do.
Right.
I had to go, do a lot of research, do a lot of reading, read a whole bunch of things, and get prepared and build things together, put things together, and make it all have a great foundation, but from other people. So there's some people out there that are here to help you.
Right.
So, yeah, being a trainer, it's a tough job too.
It is, man. It is. Full-time job, man, especially if you really care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and for me too, just being from where I'm from, I found more passion in doing this because of that. Where I'm from, we don't have the same resources as you all do down south. Football is key here. Football is like a holiday. Basketball is like a holiday up north.
Yeah.
And for me to kind of adopt that training and kind of give it back to the kids but give it to them in a way where they understand it and how they can utilize it, that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not the type of trainer to say, hey, that's mine. I did that. No. Let him be the one to say that.
You said kids are more receptive than the older guys, right? And in the training world, the general population training world, girls are more receptive than the guys.
Yes.
Like girls will dial in. They will listen to okay, here's the program. This is what you have to eat. This is what you got to do. And they're serious. They're studying and they're working out hard. And when you train a guy, it's kind of like, but I like doing this, and when I do this, it feels a little better. It
worked, yeah.
Yeah, it worked for me right here doing that. And I was like, well, when you did that, man, you developed an imbalance. Like right now, when you do a squat, your knees are caving in, and when you do a barbell row, I can see it that your bottom half can't support you lifting that heavy weight, and it's not a lower body workout, but you need that full kinetic chain to work together and be strong to support your upper body lifting that heavy weight. But they, so sometimes they can be very very, I would say, in simple terms, like hard-headed towards it.
Or you can say prideful.
Prideful too.
Pride is the biggest drug, man.
Nobody likes being told what to do.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. Even for me, my fiance, wife, I call her my wife. I don't know why I'm calling her fiance. She works out up here.
Yeah.
She makes everything I do look dumb. Because everything she does looks super smooth. Mm-hmm. I'm doing burpees and I'm trying to apply max effort. But at the same time, she's doing a burpee and she's doing max effort with great technique. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm doing everything, trying to make everything look effortless, and she does make it look effortless. The way that she does everything is just she puts everything in a simpler terms. Mm-hmm. And so that's what helped me with the business part of it as well. Her teaching me, that don't look right. And it's like sometimes you don't want to hear that. Like, how the hell that don't look right? You ain't never played it, but you can't say that because obviously you'll be sleeping on the couch when you get home. But I can't say that. Yeah. And as much as I want to go off sometimes or tell her, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I have to listen, and then when I look at it and I kind of see, shit, she right. So that plays a huge part in it as well. And like from you, what you're telling me here too is I have to apply that to my business as well because you gotta be open for constructive criticism, and I respect it, man. But T-Prep done shot up fast. It's booming, man. Business booming like ABC, man. Yeah. So. Yeah.
It's all a grind.
It's all a grind.
I said this before, probably on the first podcast. If you've been following us since then, I was telling David, you never know we'll be in 5 years. You don't know. Where were you the last 5 years? Mm-hmm. What were you doing? Cause something completely different. You didn't know you would be in this position right now, sitting next to me on this couch and talking.
Right.
At this gym.
Right.
I was in our case, I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Not knowing what to do, eating lunch with Adrian in the cafeteria, in the library.
Yeah.
So you never know where we're gonna be in the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that is is concrete is grind. Mm-hmm. Grind every day. Give it your all.
Grind every day.
And opportunities will arise, and if they don't, it's not your time. But that doesn't mean stop.
It ain't your time. That's
true. So yeah. So I mean, I know T-Prep, so I had that guy that brought in today that he came by in the morning. Mm-hmm. He was like, wow, man, this gym looks nice. And then you got the podcast going and everything like that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't even notice it. I'm just like, this is nowhere close to where I want it to be. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate it,
I think, to me, this gym is more appealing to me because, you go to your LA, you go to your whatever other fitness gyms there are. I like to work out. I don't like to see. I don't care about everything else that's around me. I don't care about all the other advanced machines or whatever, because I can get it done doing anything else, doing everything else that's around me. And here, it's not limited space. It's like at home. Mm-hmm. Here I can do anything. Shoot, I see turf. Okay, I know I can work on my feet. It's a punching bag in the corner. Mm-hmm. I see the pull-up bar. So here I feel like you're getting worth your buck too, because you're not sitting around waiting on a machine. Mm-hmm. It's not overcapacitated or whatever. I love it, man. So I really like what you're doing, man.
Yeah, I have a limit to members that can come here. Yeah, I'm not just letting just as many as I can get, because I want people to have a great experience when they're working out here. I don't, if I allow hundreds of members to come here, well, then people are going to be waiting for machines. Mm-hmm. People are going to want to leave because they can walk into the gym and there's nothing open.
Right.
And those gyms, LA Fitness, corporate, those type of gyms, that's why I wanted to start my own gym, because I wanted to be something different. And they got something different in other states, but not much in Texas. They do down in Houston. They got some in Austin. I'm pretty sure they got some down here. I think there's but Destination Dallas is still the same thing. I want to be more communicative. I want a community around us. Like, that's why I started the podcast, because I want to, talk to the members. Like, I might have some members on the podcast, because we're a community here, and this is not a place where you just give me your money and you never see me or hear from me ever again until you don't pay your monthly due. Mm-hmm. You're going to hear from me and talk to me and have a conversation with me anytime you come in. I don't care how busy I am. I'll stop and have a conversation with somebody talking about how, their dog just died.
Right.
And I'm going to hear him out, give him the best advice I can if he wants it. If not, I'm an open ear too. That's the kind of environment that I like to have around the gym, because the gym is a place for self-development. It's not a place to just give your money away and just don't use it. I mean, the tools are there to use it. just got to go do it, you know?
So I want to ask you this too. So while you were playing football, was that your only plan?
At the moment, I had people tell me, I don't know, man. You're 5'9", you're not that fast, and you're playing quarterback. You got to have a plan B. But my hard-headed self was like, nah, man, I ain't putting no plan B. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to the NFL. So no, when I was playing football and I finally made varsity my junior year, I was so excited. Ended up tearing my ACL. But I was like, all right, from this point on, I'm going to be on point. I'm going to the NFL.
Right.
And didn't have a plan B. So no, I didn't think I was going to do this when I was playing football.
I feel like you paved the way for what Braswell is now, because you were one of the first to be there.
I was the first quarterback there.
He was the first quarterback there.
Yeah.
And I feel like now they're obviously up and coming.
Oh, yeah, they're up and coming.
And the facility is fire.
Yeah.
I feel like even with you doing that, like, although everyone may not know you, but the people that do know you know that you helped pay the way too. So, like, you talk about being an influencer, shit, that's part of it right there. And you know you going in the right direction. So, I'm proud of you, boy. Especially from where I remember when I first met you. You was young. How old were you when I met you? 17?
Probably 17, 16.
Same age as Junior,
Yeah.
You know, so just keep grinding. Like you said, what are your long-term goals?
Long-term goals are to impact as much people as I can. That's pretty much it. And provide the most value to people as much as I can. Why? Because when I stepped inside of a gym, I was at my lowest low. And the gym helped me. But I did it all by myself, you know, in my head, right? I had a couple friends, I had good people around me. But I want to provide that for other people. Because there's a lot of people in this world that go through life alone.
That's true.
I know we have, you know, a good family atmosphere. You know, Adrian got some mom that loves him. I got a mom that loves me. You know, you got a mom that loves you. But there's people out there that, you know, they don't have that.
Right.
So they're just going off of what they see. They're going through everyday life, and better hope they step into T-Prep, because then they're going to get to know me. And I want to make an impact on as much people as I can.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I respect it.
But yeah, you played college football. So I want to hear about that.
Oh, man, I've been to 7 schools, man.
7 schools.
Yeah. So I was committed to Austin Peay University in Clarksville, Tennessee, coming out of high school in 2015. I ended up decommitting. The whole coaching staff left. It's crazy too, because I ended up flying to Texas, to Mesquite, Texas. I had a situation had happened in Chicago where, you know, it was just BS. So I was like, you know what? If I want to continue my career, really continue my life, I'm gonna get out of here. Flew to Mesquite, and I heard about the school called Trinity Valley. So I ended up taking a trip to Trinity Valley with my stepfather. And he was like, you know what? We're going to make sure you get you on this team. So I ended up having I did a workout for Trinity Valley, and they was like, you know what? You can come try out for us this summer in 2015. I tried out. They was like, you know what? We don't want to start your clock yet. So come back in the spring of 2016. So I ended up going to a prep school in El Paso. Went to El Paso. I was homeless out there. Stayed out there for 2 to 3 months. Had no phone, no food, barely had a place to live. Hopping in and out of the cars and whatnot, and the whole program got shut down.
Trinity Valley.
No, this is El Paso.
El Paso, okay.
This is in El Paso. So I left El Paso, came back to Trinity Valley.
What was that El Paso college called?
It's called El Paso Community College.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, man, look, it wasn't nothing. So I came back here to Trinity Valley in 2016, and I ended up getting kicked out my last 2 weeks before we played Blinn, our first game. I got into a fight. And I was like, that's why I instantly regret it. So I ended up going to North Texas. I had a camp at North Texas. They offered me a full ride right on the spot. Then they, I guess, Trinity Valley, their pipeline or whatever, they was like, you know what? No, don't do it. So I ended up going to Fort Scott Community College in Fort Scott, Kansas. And this is what helped me elevate my business. I met a coach, my receiver coach by the name of Jordan Gush. I talked to him daily. He told me straight up. And nobody had ever been straight up with me like this. You not going to the league, and you damn near don't go D1. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And as deeply as I wanted to say, excuse my language, I wanted to say I beat your ass. But there was no point for me to say it. I think that was the most humbling moment for me. So I ended up playing that full season, and I had an okay season. I ended up getting a full ride scholarship to Missouri Southern. Left
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
So I left Missouri Southern. That's when I started working out with you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I left Missouri Southern because the whole coaching staff got fired again. Then that's when I went to ECU, had my first son. Then I had a daughter, and then changed my life. So it was good, man. I ended up having my pro day. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was some good numbers that I had anticipated for.
Yeah.
I had talked to Jacksonville at the time. I just didn't have enough film. Supposed to go in for a workout. COVID actually, obviously kind of hindered that event. Then I ended up signing with the Tucson Sugar Skulls in March. And then I just was like, you know what? Like you said, you want to get back to people. Mm-hmm. So I want to get back to people. I got a son. I have a daughter. And I think it's harder raising my son than it is my daughter because lack of resources growing up. Mm-hmm. So I have to make sure that I break the cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to give it all to him at the end because the end time is something you can't replace. And I'm still learning how to be a dad, but I feel like I'm doing a damn good job at it. And then before that, I got to learn how to be a husband. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to love because, growing up we got love, but it was love when I give you love when I feel like it.
Yeah.
We're not used to hearing that words of affirmation all the time. I love you, Tino. I love you, whatever. So now, I hear my wife doing it. I love you. I love you. I love you, son. I love you, daughter. I love you. Yeah. And I think that's what changed everything for me. And I was telling you earlier, pride. I think pride was a drug for me. You couldn't tell me shit. You couldn't tell me nothing because I felt that I was always in the right. I felt that, I worked out so hard. I felt I worked so hard that I applied max effort that could nobody tell me nothing and that I was destined to go to the next level. And then once stuff hit the fan, it's like, now God, that's when God was like, you know what? You on my timing. I'm going to tell you what I think is best for you instead of you trying to tell me what's best for you. Yeah. And that's what happened. So now I have, you get a lot of people that say they missed the game so much that it's driving them. I think for that first year, it did drive me. It drove me crazy. But once I started falling in love with the business, moving to the Denton area, moving to this area in general, I started relating to kids that were in the same situation as me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't got nothing. I don't have nothing to worry about. I don't have nothing to be stressing about. I got my 2 kids. I got a family, a great supporting system now. Man, it's all up from here. Yeah. So
you said about breaking that cycle. Now, a lot of people, majority of people are in that position where either they're going to be the one to break the cycle or it's going to fall in line. Mm-hmm. It's for anybody who aspires to break that cycle, just know it's going to take a lot of work.
A lot of work,
A lot
of work.
Of stress. Mm-hmm. A lot of risk. Yeah. This ain't no rainbow path.
It ain't no rainbow path, man. It'll never be peaches and cream, man.
Nope.
Never.
You eating dirt for a lot of years.
Man.
But eventually, it will be worth it. That's the thing. Yeah. Is that like people, they go in through the dark alley, right? Mm-hmm. And they're so focused on what is going to come out or, that they're afraid. And they don't see the light at the end. Mm-hmm. And that's what stops them. So they walk in, they see the light, they see it's dark, and they're afraid. This happened. Oh, the world's against me. I don't know what to do here. Instead of looking for a flashlight, right? They turn back around where they feel comfortable, and they miss their opportunity. And then eventually, the opportunity is gone because you made other life decisions that stopped you from making accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish.
Right. That's why I say I'm proud of you too, because 3 years is a long time, or 4 years is a long time. But I didn't see, because I didn't talk to you as much, but I didn't see what you were planning, but I seen it coming together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, keep your head down and keep going. And you talk about when you got rejected at gym after gym after gym. I failed so many times that it's like I'm tired of failing. So now what do I have to do in order to make sure I don't fail again? Because today I'm still gonna fail. I may fail trying to lift something. I may fail trying to communicate with somebody. Mm-hmm. Even though I went to school for communications. But shoot, sometimes that don't work. And it's like now for me, it's like while I'm learning, I gotta apply that to everything else as well. And then I gotta show people too. And I gotta help others as well. I love the roller coaster, man. For me, it was here. It was more down, and then it was little up. And then it was more down, and then it was little up. So it's like I was taking 20 steps back, but I was only taking 1 step forward. Mm-hmm. And now it's like I'm taking 5 steps forward, and then I know I have no room for error now. So if I make any mistakes, I'm not affecting me no more. It's gonna affect my babies, and it's gonna affect the wife more than anything. And I had to learn that. So now I'm in the corrections field. I have to help these young men, because if I don't, shoot, they gonna end up the cycle, either dead or in jail. And that's why I tell people I never go back to Chicago. So
yeah, for sure, man. We're in this business to help people.
Right.
Now, if you enjoyed Akeem being on a podcast, make sure you hit a like and comment something, and share it with your friends. And he'll be on again sometime soon. That's it for me.
That's it for me, man. I appreciate you bringing me on here, man. It was wonderful.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, because like I said last podcast, I like that saying. I said those likes, those views, those subscriptions fuel the fire for us to continue to provide y'all heat.
Period, man. That's
Goodbye.
what it is.